So what should a busy entrepreneur do? The answer is simple. Listen to podcasts. There are a lot of entrepreneurship podcasts. In fact, there were over 1.95 million podcasts globally as of December 2021, many with the focus on entrepreneurship. It's sometimes hard to sort through which are going to be most helpful in building your business. This is why we compiled this list. This list is an aggregation of the most often recommended entrepreneurship podcasts. But before that, hello and welcome to MoneyIQ. Join our channel by hitting subscribe and clicking the bell icon to be updated on our new uploads. You can tune into podcasts anytime you want, while commuting to work, jogging, cooking, cycling, or even while working out at the gym. Podcasts are immensely popular these days. According to Convince and Convert, podcast listeners listen to an average of 8 podcasts per week. These are podcasts covering almost any topic you can imagine. Entrepreneurship is no different. There are a ton of business podcasts where successful entrepreneurs and business leaders share their expertise, insights, experiences, and strategies that can be immensely helpful in your own entrepreneurial journey. To that end, I've compiled a list of podcasts that will make you a better entrepreneur. So, if you're looking to develop a business, launch a startup, or stay up to date on marketing techniques, here are 10 podcasts for you. Number 1. Rework, a podcast by Basecamp. Rework is a podcast by Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansen, co-founders of Basecamp and co-authors of Rework, one of my favorite business books. In the podcast, Fried and Hansen share startup stories and unconventional wisdom from their own experience and other business owners who have embraced bootstrapping, staying small, and growing slow. The Tim Ferriss Show. Tim Ferriss is a serial entrepreneur and best-selling author of profoundly influential business books such as The 4-Hour Workweek, Tribe of Mentors, and Tools of Titans. Tim's podcast, The Tim Ferriss Show, is often the #1 business podcast on all of Apple Podcasts, and it's been ranked #1 out of 500,000 plus podcasts on many occasions. The podcast features interviews of successful people from all areas of life, investing, sports, business, art, etc., as Tim examines the tactics, tools, and routines they typically use to achieve peak performance. Past guests on the show have included Arnold Schwarzenegger, LeBron James, Doris Kearns Goodwin, Malcolm Gladwell, Vince Vaughn, Susan Cain, Ramit Sethi, and many more. Number 3. Side Hustle School. Chris Guillebeau is the author of The $100 Startup, a New York Times bestseller that has sold over 500,000 copies worldwide. In his most recent book, Side Hustle, Guillebeau explains how anyone can create a new source of income in 27 days. He explores the subject in greater depth in his podcast, Side Hustle School. The purpose of Guillebeau's podcast is to help you create a new source of income without quitting your job. In each episode, you'll hear a different story of someone who started a side hustle, along with what went well, how that person overcame challenges, and what happened as a result. Number 4. Startup. This podcast is pretty unique in its format. Created by Gimlet Media, it is also about Gimlet Media, and was created in real time as the founders started their company and learned what it takes to be entrepreneurs. The documentary style will hold your attention, and the look into the beginnings of what went on to be a hugely prosperous venture will remind you why you're in business yourself. More recent seasons have focused on other companies, and every story is compelling. Number 5. Entrepreneurs on Fire. John Dumas has created a daily interview-based podcast that will motivate you to move toward your goals. John draws on his military and business experience to ask unique questions and get to the heart of why businesses succeed. You'll never run out of inspiration. Number 6. Masters of Scale. Looking for big names? This is your show. With Richard Branson Virgin, Susan Wojcicki YouTube, Phil Knight Nike, Bill and Melinda Gates Gates Foundation and Microsoft, Brian Chesky Airbnb, and every other business icon you can think of. This show is less for the brand new entrepreneur and more for the startup that has a few years underneath the belt. Number 7. How I Built This with Guy Raz. The reason so many people recommend this podcast is because the stories are engaging and relatable. These are real entrepreneurs building incredible companies. They share how they built it in story format. NPR's Guy Raz has really built a winner with his podcast about the stories behind some of the world's best ideas. Guy Raz is an engaging host, unafraid to ask hard questions to really get to the bottom of what makes entrepreneurs tick. Every episode of the show is bound to leave you feeling more inspired to get your ideas off the ground. Check out the episodes on Canva, Strava, Kodiak Cakes, and Tim Ferriss. Yes, the guy in the podcast, The Tim Ferriss Show. Number 8. The Gary V Audio Experience. Although this is one of the most popular podcasts, it's not one of my favorites. Gary Vaynerchuk is an incredibly successful entrepreneur, having grown his family business to a $60 million empire, and then making smart investment and branding choices to build his own media empire. The Gary V Audio Experience is a revolving selection of his best speeches, interviews, Q&As, and Gary's thoughts in business. Gary is very real and very raw. Listener advisory on this one. I noticed the more recent the recommending site, the less likely they included Gary V. Number 9. TED Business. Host Modupi Akinola of Columbia Business School presents the most powerful and surprising ideas that illuminate the business world, most of which are focused on universal conundrums like how to land a promotion, set smart goals, or undo injustice at work. After the talk, Akinola gives listeners a mini lesson on how to apply the idea to their own lives. Number 10. Recode Decode, or Decoder. Aside from co-hosting the Pivot podcast with Scott Galloway, Recode's Kara Swisher has her own podcast called Recode Decode. In this podcast, Swisher hosts candid interviews with tech execs, politicians, celebrities, and more about their big ideas and how they're changing our world. Past guests on the podcast have included Elon Musk, Hillary Clinton, Mark Zuckerberg, Jason Fried, Adam Grant, and many more. A cheeky like and subscription will be very much appreciated if you did enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time right here on the Money IQ. Bye-bye!